burned within the Congress regime. So obviously, Congress has some explaining to do. Now, there are reasons why this should see a closure. The scam itself was about 65 crore rupees in 1986. But by the time that the investigations really slowed down or ended in 2007, 2007 period, the Exchequer had spent about 250 crore rupees in terms of carrying out the investigation at various levels from Delhi to Sweden. Delhi to Stockholm. So, you know, with this much money gone, we are not really wiser so far as the truth is concerned. And the manner in which top echelons of power were involved, the manner in which investigations were sabotaged, and Sten Lindstrom spoke about that in the expose that we carried out last month about how topmost levels of Indian government were involved in sabotaging his investigation in Sweden. It is clear that people in India, the bar of the people wants to know, even if the bar of prosecution really failed in 2004, 2005 to get to the truth. And obviously because the government did not intend to assist the bar.
Yes.
So the issue is about bar of public opinion wanting to know whether the truth would come out, what the truth was, and who all were involved, in what manner, why the investigations were sabotaged. So, you know, all these things need a closure, and this hearing today in the court on the petition of Ajay Agrawal really provides that window where we can perhaps hope that the case would see further investigation and ultimately coming out of truth rhythm.
Absolutely. Stay with us, Abhishek. Let's also go across to Chitra Subramanian, who's now joining us on this live broadcast. Chitra, the court hearing has probably begun now in the top court. Our colleague Nalini tracking that. But Chitra, over to you. You've been tracking the Bofors. In fact, you were the person who actually exposed Bofors. It's been such a huge time since then. Republic, in fact, in the past 40 days has carried out expose after expose in Bofors. We're trying to put the lid out in the open on it. But Chitra, coming to you, because remember, even when I was trying to do that expose on Rene Felber, on Madhav Singh Solanki, Rene Felber, interestingly, mentioned the journalist who was there at Davos as you being there. So what we need to really understand is so many years on, 40 days of exposes by Republic. Do you think finally it's time for the case to be reopened by the top court of the country?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't see why, 30 years is an issue. And I find these arguments which say that, so much has gone into investigating Bofors, let's close it. That's absolutely ridiculous, which is to say that just because we've spent money uselessly, let us not try and figure out how our country's exchequer was fooled. I mean, I find this absolutely appalling. Secondly,
no, Chitra, that's all the more reason. That's all the more reason that investigation sees a conclusion.
It does not owe any political party. When you vote, you actually vote for the institutions of the country to be run properly. And I don't think that 30 years is long enough. If you're looking at history, then let's also stop talking about Indians who gave us independence or Indians who wrote the constitution, asking us to be honest citizens, and just rewrite everything and say, that was written 40 years ago. Coming back to today's story, I think it's extremely significant because we can show chapter and verse how the government tried to stop it. What was Solanki trying to do in Davos, trying to pass off a letter to Rene Felber? And yes, it was leaked to me because there were enough people then in Switzerland at a very high level who were very worried about this case. Because at that point, try and understand that this was the time of great cleaning up in Switzerland. This was 25 years ago. So people were very keen, and Bofors was a case that changed jurisprudence in Switzerland. So for me, the word that will come out of the Supreme Court will be the word of India's institution, India's apex court, which doesn't owe and should not owe anything to anybody except the people of India and strengthening its own credibility. The CBI, we know, dances to the tunes of any political party. So for me as a journalist, it's more important that the institutions respond, not people in the CBI. The evidence is very, very strong to suggest that there was a clear link with the Gandhi family. For example, what we exposed 40 days ago was a conversation between Olof Palme and Rajiv Gandhi And that is the critical thing. Why on earth would the Prime Minister of India take so much interest? Why would he tell the Prime Minister of Sweden to also take some money back to a foundation if it was not to also shut him up? Because then nobody could speak about it. Why would Bofors top executives threaten Indian executives to say, based on a conversation, which they don't even say in that note, what was the conversation? We now know that conversation was that plain conversation. So, the evidence will keep coming out, whether we like it or not. And if we don't stand up as a country, it'll reflect. And the last point is, it's not 64 crores. I believe, and so do many people, that it's much more than 64 crores, which is why opening the boxes becomes important, because the boxes will show the money trail.
Yes.
Because once the scandal came out, that was when the money trail stopped publicly. But there is no evidence to say that it stopped. It stopped also. I believe those boxes go very far, which is why the fact that we are calling for them to be also examined, if they have not been examined and destroyed, I think we are on the right track. And we as journalists have to do our job.